This week, we're helping an ambitious homeowner who's bitten off more than she can chew as we bring her project in for a landing.
Well, we definitely need a handrail.
Absolutely.
I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help.
There you go.
Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about. About 6 months ago, Wendy Grice bought this home she shares with her 4-year-old daughter, Parker. But this fixer-upper has been as much of a project as a home.
As a real estate agent, I saw the potential with this house, but it had always been a rental, so it was pretty beat up and pretty outdated and needed tons of work. It was the worst house in the best neighborhood, so I knew that if I could get in and then fix it up, it'd be a good investment. Since I've been here, I've put in all new floors, painted every single wall. We framed all of our windows, a lot of the windows in the master bedroom. I like learning. I like getting on Pinterest and seeing ideas and saying, I can do this. This is what I do in my free time, is just to come up with these great ideas to do around my house.
The project we're here to help her with is an extension of the second floor landing that was never quite completed.
Hi guys, welcome. Come in.
Hi, Wendy, how you doing?
Great, how are y'all?
I'm doing good, doing good. So this is the area you were talking about.
It is.
So this used to go all the way to the second story.
It did, all the way to the top.
Well, it doesn't look too bad down here. Is there more work to do up there?
Tons of work.
I can see where that could add a lot of space.
How long have you been working on this?
Several months.
Okay, so you're probably ready to wrap it up.
I
You got
am.
materials all over here, ready to go.
I do.
All right, well, let's look at this space here and see. You already got a lot of this already done.
I do. I'd actually had a contractor come in and he started the work for us. Originally, the landing upstairs was just small. It was more of just like a dust collector. So my stepdad and I figured that we could finish it, but this is way too much work for us. Dana is my stepdad. He's been married to my mom for about 10 years. I have adopted Dana as my official handyman, and so he does all my projects with me.
The handrails, that makes it a little more difficult. Matter of fact, that will definitely take some figuring here with two newel posts being that close together.
Well, how do you plan on using this space?
I'd like to use this as kind of like a playroom for my daughter. Right now we share an office. Well, I have an office and she has a playroom in there as well. Parker just kind of slowly took over that with all of her toys, so it would be great if I could just move her upstairs and I could have my own office back. I'd love eventually to maybe put some built-ins and maybe have this like her area.
Oh, around the window?
Yes.
Oh, that would be nice.
Well, we definitely need a handrail then.
Absolutely.
A really good,
yes.
sturdy handrail. And I really don't see anything wrong with the light. The light's kind of cool there. You might.
If you're gonna swing from it, I guess,
Yeah.
onto the first floor.
When it's time to start work, the first job is removing what's going away. For some reason, Wendy and Chelsea want this light fixture gone.
Okay, now we can make this a swag fixture, just to think about it. Now just think, and you know, this could be like a focal point, like a real interest point. Come on
No.
now. And see, I could hang it right here in the center. What do you think?
No.
How's that?
Ooh, no.
Could this light be any bigger?
It was in great shape. I see nothing wrong with it at all.
It's in the back of your truck, isn't it?
No. I wonder if she'll sell it. So as far as the position of the light, I would definitely center it on the window here. So this is a mark I made. If you were to put a fixture, whoa!
Well, Dad, that was a close one.
You know, if I fell off the bench, I might have fallen off the little balcony area.
And been on the first floor.
You would be here by yourself talking to everybody.
I noticed, and so did everyone else.
While I cut out a location for the new light fixture, Chelsea and Wendy get started removing a section of the existing handrail that will need to be replaced.
This handrail was very stubborn, but I guess it's really a good thing because we got a 4-year-old up there playing around on the handrail. It's good to know that at least it was well secured, so I know she's safe up there.
The post is pretty rickety and didn't seem very sturdy, but it was well connected with the handrail and didn't want to separate. So I had to use a little extra strength to get the job done. Yeah, there we go.
Look, Chelsea, look. So I was able to route the wire. It had enough slack all the way over. Don't even have to get in the attic. The piece I cut out of here goes right in here. This is good.
That's pretty good.
This is good.
Working on home improvement projects around your house and yard typically requires driving in lots of nails, but sooner or later you're gonna have to pull out some of those nails. So I wanted to share with you 3 techniques that make it really easy to pull out virtually any nail. First, you've probably seen this technique where you use a block of wood as a fulcrum. It just provides quite a bit of extra leverage for pulling the nail out. And you can also use a technique called side-to-side pull, where you put the claw onto the nail shaft and you just rock it back and forth. You may have to reposition the hammer, but little by little, it'll pull the nail out. Now that does kind of mess up the wood surface sometimes, so be careful where you use that. But here's another technique. What happens if you have a nail in which the head has broken off, or maybe it's a large finishing nail, has a very tiny head, and all you need is a pair of locking pliers. Lock the pliers onto the shaft, nice and tight like that, and then put the claw of the hammer. What you're essentially doing is prying up on the pliers, and the pliers will yank out the nail. So then you just pull back, pop out the nail.
Several months ago, Wendy hired a contractor to extend the second floor landing over the 2-story entryway in her home. Once he completed the floor system, she decided to finish it herself. But the job was bigger than she expected, so we're jumping in to help her complete it.
The new newel post was installed exactly the way I would do it, right in the middle of this span. That's why we removed the other newel post. It would look a little awkward if we had left it in place. Now this was installed the right way, notched into the floor joist system. The others, not so much. They're a little bit wobbly, so we'll have to supplement with some additional screws on that. But I want to get this handrail up pretty soon, because that's a long way down.
The first step is squaring off the base for the handrail, which was mitered in the corner where the landing used to end.
It's time for a new blade.
I would say so.
Fortunately, this material is a stock piece of window stool, so all we have to do is cut a new piece to length and notch it around the newel post.
What do you always say? It fits like socks on a rooster? Is that what you always say?
Nope, I've never said that in my life. That doesn't seem like it would fit very well at all.
Once we secure the base to the landing, we can lay out the locations for the spindles. While Chelsea and Wendy drill those holes, I'm cutting 2 new sections of handrails to go on either side of the newel post.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool way to mark the underside of the handrail for all the spindles.
Well, you know, you can mark each one of them and measure each one of them, but, you know, bigger chance of error in doing that. But you lay one side by side, mark it across, can't go wrong.
Hey, Wynn, how you doing? How's it going? My goodness, look at all of
We're
this.
using a drill press to ensure that the holes in the rail are perfectly square. So Wendy's stepdad, Dana, is helping me manage these heavy pieces of oak.
Brand new drill bit.
How about that?
I like that.
Yeah, no smoking.
It might be by the end going into oak.
I'm sure it will.
It looks like Wendy's got you kind of trained pretty well.
I am well trained.
Y'all done a lot of projects together around here, I understand.
We sure have. I love her to death because she actually gets in there and does it. She'll come up and she'll say, well, why don't we do this? And I said, well, it would be easier to build an Eiffel Tower. She says, well, when do we start?
We've just kind of learned how to read each other's minds. I know what he needs and he knows what I need, and we've always worked well together.
I can remember coming home from school and Mr. Hutto, the handyman, would be at my house doing some work.
Yeah, well, I'm going to guess you were the kid that stood there and watched him do it, though.
I did. They would give me a hammer and some nails just to occupy me and keep me from asking so many questions.
That's me. I couldn't stand having somebody do something I wasn't watching, figuring out how they were doing it.
It's fun with Dana and being able to do projects with him and learning all kinds of tricks of the trade. And I hope that eventually I can teach Parker some of the same things and we can do some stuff together as well.
We're recycling the rosette that was used before to support the end of this rail where it meets the wall. But this time there isn't a stud where it needs to be mounted. As I'm cutting a hole in the drywall to add blocking, I discover there's attic space behind the wall.
That's attic space, isn't it?
So all we have to do is screw a 2x4 between the studs on the attic side to provide adequate support for the rail. Because there are so many spindles and so many holes, we need all hands on deck to assemble these handrails.
Do you have it facing the right way? You checked, so you weren't positive. Okay, I'll try and keep these two in place.
Yeah, just keep those in down there, Chelsea.
What's it not
I think
doing?
you need to lower it more.
Yeah, lower. It needs to
Dad.
come down some.
Okay.
Lower your right side.
I'm thinking there's no easy way to do this.
I honestly don't know which is the right way to do it. Nope.
I was surprised. I would have thought that would have been simpler, but it wasn't.
Once the first section of rail finally falls in place, we have another challenge before we can assemble the second one.
To complete the new layout for the handrails, we needed 6 more spindles, and what we were able to do is take one of the old ones, take it to the home center, and you can see we matched it up perfectly. It's a little long, we can cut that off, but what do we do in this situation where we have this extended dowel on the existing one? We have this dowel, we've got to cut that off and still maintain the dowel? Well, fortunately, this has a removable piece that we'll be able to cut this down and put it right back in place.
For the next section, Dana has the idea to start with the spindles in the top rail.
Well, it just seemed simpler because we could see the hose.
Just not fitting.
All right. Any way you spin it, it's hard. You're not lined up on the bottom anymore.
I think we needed about 2 more people. And maybe on our 3rd rail, we would have gotten it
we
right.
would have figured it out.
Eventually, all the spindles find their holes so we can connect the handrails to the post by countersinking long screws to secure them.
I guess, you know, you could put the whole rail, the top and the bottom one together and put it in
Then
place.
put it in place.
But then, I don't know. I'm glad
It's done.
I'm glad it's done.
Pneumatic nailers are fantastic because they make the project go that much quicker and it makes it much more efficient. The downside, of course, is that you have to maintain the compressor and you also have to keep up with that hose. So that's why having a battery-operated nailer around is a good choice, right, Dan?
It sure is. Milwaukee has the cordless fuel 18-gauge nailer. And talking about efficient, most cordless nailers have a ramp-up time, or pull the trigger, you have to wait a few seconds in order to fire it. This fires almost immediately.
Oh, I love that.
And it shoots up to a 2 1/8 inch brad.
Now you talk about the fact that it is battery operated. This is the red lithium 18-volt battery. Not only this battery, but a sealed compressed nitrogen inside is what drives that nail so that it basically has the strength of a pneumatic nailer, but without the other accoutrements that, you know, kind of bog you down. So if you are looking for a battery operated nailer, this is a good choice.
After one day of work, we've turned Wendy's incomplete landing into legitimate living space by adding new, safer handrails. At the start of day 2, we're going to try to improve the existing rails.
Okay, so obviously this is the loose newel post you're talking about.
It is.
Well, that is just terrible.
It is, and it makes me nervous when Parker's flying up and down these stairs, 90 miles an hour.
What we're going to do is going to put in a couple of these screws. So we'll put it in to where it goes beyond just this little 1x. This is just for our countersink so that we can hide the screw. This will go down through your pilot hole, into the plywood below it, and into the joist that makes up this side of the stairway. Now, your turn.
Okay.
Now see the tricky part here, we have to miss the other screw. Go ahead.
Uh-oh, I messed up. What'd I do?
No, you did. No, you did fine. All right, now, let's go. Look at that.
I did it.
Meanwhile, Chelsea is adding some floor leveling compound to smooth out the transition between the old and the new plywood decking. Then Chelsea and Wendy survey her daughter's books, games, and toys to determine exactly what size spaces we'll need for the design of the new window seat and bookcase.
This lower area would actually come out about 18 inches. We'll have a little toe kick on it here so that we can run the baseboard around. It'll give it a nice built-in feel to it. Then bookcases on either side, and you'll actually have one shelf that'll actually be right at the top of the window. I mean, we're utilizing every square inch of the whole place.
Just be nice and cozy.
Overall, you know, will look pretty attractive from up here, as well as even down there when you're looking back at it. It'll look better looking than that big light picture that was hanging here.
Absolutely. That you wanted to keep.
Once we take a few measurements, Chelsea and I head out to the garage to start making cuts while Wendy and Dana begin applying the gel coat stain to the handrails.
I hated that brown color. I've always hated that. So one night I got online and just started Googling every way possible to get rid of it. That's something that I could do easy by myself.
So Wendy, what do you think this nasty stain I've got on me is going to come off in time for bikini season?
Doubt seriously.
Probably.
Bikini season.
I'm just a lucky
Good
guy.
Lord.
I mean, you got to look good, right?
Dana tells all those dad jokes. Got all those crazy, silly dad jokes.
Next project, I'll pretend I know what I'm doing.
You do that with every project, don't you?
Oh, that's right.
It's nice when you can read someone's handwriting, isn't it?
Who are you talking about? Whose handwriting do you have trouble reading?
Yours. Truth be told, I don't always have that great of handwriting, but I did take a little effort just so I could poke fun at Dad's handwriting this time.
You're worse than the doctor.
Dad, I got a lot of things from you,
Aw.
genetically.
Yeah.
Luckily, handwriting was not one of them.
What's wrong? What's wrong with my handwriting?
So the first step to building the bookcase is to build a platform to bring it up above the baseboard.
Right, right. Now, I may have shown you this trick before and how you can quickly find the center of a board without doing a lot of arithmetic, all
I
right?
could use a refresher.
Okay, all right, so this board's approximately 8 foot long. So you just arbitrarily mark 46. Come back over here, you mark 46. And then you have this measurement in here,
Right.
which is right at 5. Half
So
of that's
2.5.
2.5. There's a center.
That's like magic. I'm not crazy about all of Dad's carpentry tricks, but this one is actually pretty efficient, and that's right up my alley.
The window seat is essentially an open-ended box built from plywood. Once it's assembled, we nail it to the toe kick and the walls before we begin putting together the bookshelves that go on top of it. To hide the raw edges of the plywood and stiffen up the whole unit, we're attaching a 1x2 band to all of the front edges.
Did you flush? When I said, did you flush, it had nothing to do with a toilet. It has to do with the alignment of the wood.
Well, I know, but it was funny because I was sitting down.
I didn't see any humor in that
Sorry,
whatsoever.
potty humor. It's never not funny.
We had to get a primer and a first coat on all those new cabinets, and so the way we worked that out was Wendy stayed and did it, and I went home and had dinner.
Early the next day, we're ready to tackle the floor.
And snap the end grain together first.
Perfect. How's that?
Dang, that was good.
I can't believe you don't even have to glue this stuff. It just snaps down.
Yeah.
These vinyl planks require a gap along the edges for expansion. Shoe molding covers it at the walls, but we're adding colored caulk along the handrail base to hide the gap there and still remain flexible. With the big jobs finished, we can hang the crown molding over the entry and paint the raw drywall down below.
You know, I think Wendy was hoping that nobody saw what happened to that paint tray.
Yeah, but we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wow, you guys really do have cameras everywhere.
And the final touch is the new, unnecessary light fixture for the landing.
All right, Dad, admit it. This fixture is a lot better than the old one.
It's a little small.
Wendy's idea to expand the landing over her entryway was a great one, but even after the structure was complete, she realized she was in over her head with some of the remaining details. By reworking some of the existing handrail and adding several feet to it, we've turned a novelty area into a legitimate living space. And changing the rail stain from light to dark has taken years off of this home. The window seat and built-in shelves will make it functional for Parker, but they're also an attractive addition that'll improve the value of this home in years to come. And continuing the same flooring used throughout the house into the space not only completes it, it makes it feel like it's always been there. And that was our goal.
I feel like I've been living in a construction zone for the last 6 months because it's just been halfway done for so long, and now I feel like I can't even stop looking at it because it's just so exciting. It's completed and it's beautiful, and it just feels like everything's finally coming together with this house. And I am eternally grateful to Danny and Chelsea for coming to do this project for me. This was never in a million years something I could have finished, even with Dana. Parker's gonna love it. It's gonna be a space that's just hers, and all of her toys can go upstairs, and I can have my office back to myself, and I just love it. I love everything about it. It's beautiful.
I absolutely love practical, realistic remodeling projects like this one, where essentially air was converted to a very functional space. I know little Parker's going to have a lot of fun right there. And along the way, we've been able to share with you how simple it is to install luxury plank flooring, how to build kind of custom looking cabinets using just regular lumber and trim, and how you can take new handrail material and blend it right in with the old like it's always been there. All the details waiting on you on our website. I'm Danny Lipford. I hope to see you next week right here on today's Homeowner. My plantar fasciitis is really flaring up right now on this foot.
Switch feet.
I'm just proud I was able to say that.
It took a lot of
Did you see me
concentration.
concentrating?
Be sure to join us next week as we help a pair of homeowners add some rustic charm to their modern suburban home.
Hold on.
Are you bored?